Hello and welcome. My name is Sandcrawler, or Ythmevge, and you're watching Making Games. And so to start off this new series, we're going to be working on Connected We Run, which was my Ludum Dare 30 game for Ludum Dare Game Jam competition. If you're not aware, I made this game in 48 hours originally. Has a high score table and then a game page, basically. Actually, let's just go ahead and play through it, and then I'll point out the things that I don't like that aren't working. So you can see it's pretty slow. It looks like, oh, we're gonna get one. Nope, didn't make it. So now the white character is out, and there's the black one. So you have to refresh your browser to replay. That's the first thing. That it was never intended to be that way. In fact, if you click it, it still resets you, even though it doesn't work. So that'll be one of the things that needs to be fixed. And then I'm gonna remove the high score table and stuff for now. I think I'm gonna put the game onto Game Jolt. Having to use your mouse to click the play button is one of those things that I don't like at all. In fact, I don't like this whole title screen. And we're also gonna be implementing a difficulty selector. We're going to change this whole title screen. So you'll be able to select the difficulty and then you'll basically start. The thing in here that I don't like is these platforms, these first 5 or 6 platforms up to this one here and this one are exactly the same every time. And so they're not randomized like the rest of the platforms are. Like you can see this one just going across the top. So that's one of the things that we're going to change in the game. So let's go ahead and switch over to Construct 2 and we'll get started. Okay, here we are in Construct 2. And you can see this is the title screen. These are platforms that are manually placed for the title screen. And then it'll start spawning them afterwards. If we take a look at the event sheet here, you can see every 3 seconds it'll create a platform and set the animation frame, which changes it to whichever color. Left click on the play button is what takes you to layout 2, which is to play, and it starts the song in a loop. This was for the high score table, and this was also for the high score table. So we can actually remove those two. And so first things first is to bring in a sprite that I made. I'm gonna go in here, go to this one, and that's the one we want. Oops. So you can see this one, it has a split down it, so it'll sit nicely on that line. We're gonna call this title. Well, let's get rid of the old title then. Where are you at? Right here. Oops. Looks kind of jaggedy to me. I don't know why. I think that's about right. We can play with that later. We're also not going to need this play button. And we don't need this. If we can find it in here, here it is. Okay, so now we got that. We're going to leave that event there for now. We're going to add a new event. We are going to, actually we got to add the keyboard object first. So we'll just go up here. Add event keyboard on any key pressed. We want it to go to another layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new layer. Okay. First we're going to move this. Move to layer, we're going to move it to layer 2. So now if we toggle that on and off, it should go away. I should name my layers, but I generally don't. We'll just go ahead and name that one title. We'll name this one menu. And then go back in here on any key pressed. We're going to go into system and we're going to search for layer. And we're going to set layer visible. We'll set layer 2. Yeah, layer 2 to invisible. And at the same time, we'll set layer 3 to be visible. So we need to set layer 3, which is the menu, set it to initial visibility is invisible. Okay. Next we have some menu objects to bring in. So we'll go ahead and do that. Slow is going to be our lowest setting. And then we'll have the normal. I don't really like it called normal, but I couldn't think of anything better. And fast. Okay, so I just kind of put them roughly where I wanted them. I kind of want them to line up with where our title is. And now I'm just gonna center them out as best I can see. That looks pretty good right there. So what's going to happen is you're going to start on this screen, and when you push any button on your keyboard, it's going to go to this screen. And then for this screen, we're going to need some more events. We're going to need quite a few events, so I'm going to make a event group. And we should probably name these. Okay, so what we want in here, we go to add sub event, keyboard, on key pressed, we're going to do the arrow keys. And we're going to need a global variable for menu is the easiest way I can think to do it. Then on right arrow press, we're going to go menu, we want to add 2. We're going to do 1. And then we're going to change this to left arrow. And we're going to change this to subtract from 1. Now that right there, that will basically let us select which difficulty. But next we need to go in here and we're going to compare this variable, and we're going to pick I didn't even pick the right one in here. We gotta go back in here, we gotta pick the menu variable. And if this is equal to 0, or actually we want it less than. If it's less than 0, we're going to set it to 0. Menu 0. And then we're going to do basically the same thing, except if it's greater than 3, we're going to set it to 3. That's because our difficulty 0, well, yeah, you could either do 0, 1, and 2, or you can do 1, 2, and 3. So we need to change this to 2. And it starts out at 0, so now we need to add some sort of display indicator for that. And to do that, what I'm going to do is clone this platform, and then we're going to rename it to selector. And we'll just drag an instance in of it. We're going to go in here and we'll just delete the black one, because we're only going to use white, I think. I don't know why it always looks gray. It looks very gray to me. We're going to come in here to the behaviors, and we're going to remove both of these, so we don't need it to move. Oh, it's the emboss gets reset. So we need to set that to intensity 10. Then it should look nice and clean and white. Okay, so we got our selector now. And we have this, and we need a way to position the selector. So we're just going to go in here and we're going to add an image point. Which you do by pushing the button to add an image point. And so we're just going to set it kind of below. And it moved because I changed the origin point by mistake. We'll do the same thing in here, except we're going to remember to push the button this time. And right about there should be good. I actually should go in and make sure, so that's 142, and this one is 142. This one will be 142. Next, we just need to go back in here to our event sheet, and we'll add new event below, and we'll go to System, Compare Variable, menu. When it equals 0, we're going to position it to selector set position to. Set position to another object, and we're going to pick our button slow, and we're going to do image point 1, and then we'll do this, set this to 1, we'll change this to normal, image point 1 still, then we'll set this to 2. And button fast. Okay, so I think we're ready to go ahead and see if this is gonna work as I intended or not. So I'm gonna switch over, and I will see you in a second. So you can see it's loading correctly. It kind of looks like crap. I'll have to see about saving it in a different format. So if we hit a button, we're gonna be able to go through the difficulties, and for whatever reason the reset isn't working right now. Oh, I didn't set up the loop, that's right. Okay. But you can see from the platform that we can go through the 3 difficulties and select them. So let's go ahead and switch back over. Okay, we're back in Construct 2. I had to disable this event because it was just forcing it to go right through. So what we want to do here, and I made the mistake, is we actually want to set this to 2 when it goes below 0. And when it goes above 2, we want to set it to 0. What that's going to do is let us go in a circle around the selection. Otherwise, it was all working pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and start on what it actually needs to do. So we're going to add a new global variable, and we're going to call it diff for difficulty. Now we're going to go back in here. We're going to do add insert event below, and we want to do keyboard on key press. We just want to do the up arrow. So when you push the up arrow, it's going to select what difficulty you're playing. Now you can see I'm just doing the arrows right now. I'm going to make it so this plays with was as well, which is basically just duplicating these events that say the arrow keys to say the was keys. So now on up arrow pressed, we're gonna do system. Well, we're gonna duplicate this. So we'll just go ahead and do that. But we're gonna add one new thing in here, which is set value of difficulty. And we're gonna set that to system menu. So now, depending on what difficulty we selected, it is going to set that to the difficulty, which does nothing yet, but we'll get there. So another thing we can do is make this blip select play when you do things. So now when you press the key, it's going to play it basically. And then when you select your difficulty, it'll play it. This we want to set. I don't know if this will... We want it to only do that once, or let's see if we can't grab system. Layer is visible. We only want it to do this while layer 2 is visible. After that it won't, so we'll go ahead and we'll switch back over to Firefox and test it out. Okay, so here we are, and when we push a key, it's going to make a sound. And then when we move the arrow keys, it's going to make a sound, and you can see our indicator is also looping. But if we push any other key that doesn't do anything, like I don't know if you can hear it this time or not, but I'm pushing other keys on the keyboard and it's not going to make that sound. Okay, and if we just, it doesn't even matter, we'll just push up and it'll let us play. Okay. Oh, it didn't crash. It was just taking a minute. If we go back in here to fast, I was noticing, particularly while we were actually on there, that this needs to move over to be about here. To try and center them as much as possible. Normal looks pretty good. And slow. That one, it was pretty good in the game, but we'll shift it over a little bit. Something like that. Just to try and center that platform, which I'm not going to load back up for that, but you get the idea. It'll take us into the game. The controls are entirely keyboard based now, which was one of my problems with the game, is that you had to click the play button and then you never use the mouse again. And so it's better to just not even have the mouse as a part of it. So it's not. So in the next episode we'll be working on the actual game. We're gonna make this replay button work. We're also gonna generate these platforms to start with, which is something that has needed to be done and I just haven't done it. And we'll see what else we get to. I don't ever know. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.